Hi, everybody. This is Lee, and I'm talking about the election system again. The fact that there are still people who remain in denial that there were issues not only in the Democratic primary of 2016, but then also a denial of issues in the general election of 2016. There were issues on both sides of that election event, and that for the Democratic primary, there's been a multitude of information and evidence produced that shows that there were insidious practices that were deliberate. They were not accidental, they were not mistakes, that they were consistent and persistent and deliberate attacks upon the voters, the electorate, the citizens of this nation, the ones who tried their very best to cast a ballot and then found that their registrations had either been flipped from the party that they originally registered for, or that their registrations had been stripped and that they had been purged from the voter rolls, and so they were disenfranchised and unable to cast a ballot in the Democratic primary. There are issues with provisional ballots in California, and that there were issues with statistics, the actual tabulation, and that individual statisticians and mathematicians and computer experts ran the numbers and found that they were impossible, that they came up to consistently favor Hillary Clinton and disfavor Bernie Sanders. And these are voting machines, many of which had no paper trail, no way to audit the count, and so, which is why people want paper balloting rather than a Las Vegas style casino roll of the dice when you go in and you try to cast your ballot with a machine and you can't prove which way you voted. So that's a Democratic primary. I'm going to once again post the links where this evidence lies, and then people can look at what Election Justice USA came up with what WikiLeaks revealed, and then also what the DNC fraud lawsuit revealed, that there was corruption and bias, insidious practices that falsely nominated Hillary Clinton for the Democratic Party. So people will believe it or not, depending on their state of mind and their own mentality towards the truth. And so, I mean, we can only just put the information out there, whether someone accepted it or keep saying Russia, Russia, Russia. It's up to them. But I will say, for those who are attempting to go through the Democratic primary in 2018, you might want to just have all the information that's out there available so you know what to look for. You can take steps to protect your campaign and then protect your voters who believe in you. That you might want to take steps to do that rather than laying down and rolling over and let bad things happen to your voters. Okay, and so that's the Democratic side of the primary. For the general election, we have Chris Kobach and his famous cross-check system, which is used to purge voters from the rolls, and that this likely was used in the general election of 2016, that people found themselves once again purged from the voter rolls, and that there were certain communities that were targeted, and that possibly it falsely elected Donald Trump, or gave him that boost he needed for the Electoral College win. And so, issues with the voting system that have to be addressed. And so I'm going to go ahead and let people know about a group that's out in California. It's the California Election Integrity Coalition. They're nonpartisan. They're a voting rights organization. They're having their second annual National Take Back the Vote conference. This is October 7th and 8th in Berkeley, California. And so that they expect over 25 nationally recognized leaders in the election integrity movement. They'll be assembling, and then also federal, state, and local legislators. There will be presentations, questions answered. Some of the speakers include Barbara Simons and David Jefferson of Verified Voting, John Brakey, Lulu Freestadt, John Bendor, Luke Aptifer, Karen McKim, and Dr. Laura Presley, and more. And so basically, if you have interest in fixing, repairing, reforming the voting apparatus in our country, and that we have a short window prior to the next election cycle. I mean, we have elections this November 2017, but then we have the midterm elections, 435 House seats, governorships, Senate seats, mayoralships coming open. And in order to have a fair outcome, there's work to be done. And so the co-sponsors of this event include California Election Integrity Coalition, Voting Rights Task Force, Ballots for Bernie, Wellstone Democratic Renewal Club, Berkeley Fellowship of Unitarian Universalists. And so I've heard mentioned that some people have concerns about the voting in California, and rightfully so. There are many issues that occurred, not only during the lead up to the primary, California primary, but then also during the primary, and then during the counting of the ballots, there were issues. And so now there's, they have the top two system, and then also they're attempting to move their primary from, I believe, June up to March, right after Super Tuesday. And so people are kind of suspicious about that. And I would say, rather than casting blame here or there, I would say probably attend this conference if you can, and maybe learn from experts, voting rights experts, election experts, what is really happening in California and what the impact will be, rather than like pointing fingers recklessly and saying, it's to benefit her, him, or them. I would suggest coming to this meeting. Again, it's upcoming. It's October 7th and 8th, and that's Berkeley, California, if you can make it, and then share what you learn with the rest of us. Good luck.